the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. But this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K. Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is the New York Knicks podcast, episode 529, part of Dash Radio. It's been a little while, Mark. How you doing?
Good. Shouldn't you be, you sound a little metal, Jay. Shouldn't you be through the roof? Like, the Knicks are goddamn awesome. Shouldn't you be, like, singing from the streets? Like, marching down Broadway? What's up with you, Jay? The Knicks are awesome.
I'm very excited. I'm in a new apartment. I don't know how the acoustics work yet. I don't want to get yelled at in the middle of the show, so...
By who? Who would yell at you during the show, Jay?
I
Your
don't know.
new neighbors?
My new neighbors, my significant other, somebody. I was going to start off the show with without getting yelled at, so...
So you were going to do the show as if the Knicks have lost 10 out of 11 games that have won 10 out of 11
No,
10 out of 11 games.
no.
Like
If they
that, you're going to
lost-
that like a somber, yeah. I mean, it's nice. We're going to make the playoffs the first time in like forever. It's good to have a good team. I'm going to keep it somber.
I'm pretty sure if they lost 10 out of 11, I would have been like, Mark, my stuff is still packed in boxes. I'm sorry. Would have loved to have recorded, but I can't do it.
They lost 10 out of 11. You'd be like, oh, Mark, I actually lit our podcast equipment on fire. So no show.
Yeah, exactly. Goodbye forever.
The Knicks are playing unbelievable. Hey, okay. I want to take something from another podcast. Woj, the man on his podcast, Julius Reynolds on the podcast. You play a clip?
Yes. Here we go.
This year with this team and sort of connecting with Tom Thibodeau, does it feel to you like right time, right place, right coach for you?
Absolutely. A lot of things came like full circle, honestly, Woj. I won't lie to you because like last year, I knew the challenge I was accepting, but still, man, like things hit you from all different kind of places that you're not always going to be prepared for. And that's kind of what happened to me. You know, I worked my butt off. I was ready for it. But at the end of the day, you know, when you're not winning and you're not playing your best basketball, it's tough. I always go back. It was one night I was going through it, man. I was really upset. This really started at the beginning of the season. I was really upset. I'm at the restaurant. My agent, Aaron, he actually called me. He was like, man, I'm coming down there to see you. And I don't even really like calling him my agent, man, because it's really like family, like how we operate. But he's like, I'm coming down there to see you. So he comes down there to see me. It's me. It's Elford, because it's his other client. It's him. Kenny Payne, because Kentucky was playing in New York during that time. Whereas Scalinatella, it's Leon, and it's Wes. And this is like in November or December. So this is how crazy it is. So we're talking. We're at the restaurant. Like they see I'm down. They're trying to pick me up. They see I'm down. They're trying to talk to me. Like, what is it that you see? What is it that you're feeling? What do you see on the court? What's going on? So I'm telling them all the things. Like I'm complaining. They're probably like, man, what's wrong with this dude? Like, you know, I'm telling them everything I don't like. You know what I mean? And what's really bothering me. And you know, Wes really took it to heart. And fast forward 6, 7, 8 months later, they really took it to heart. And they came. It was kind of like they saved me, honestly, in a sense, because Leon took the job, and not too far along, Wes took the job with them. And Wes called me. He's like, yo, what do you need? What do you need to be an all-star? What do you need to lead this team?
So, yeah.
You're not going to finish the clip?
Okay.
Was that it?
No, there's a little more.
And one of the things I told him was I really, you know, I need coaching. I need a coach to hold me accountable. I need a coach to push me. So Tibbs comes in the picture. Then they bring KP along, who was at the dinner as well. And it's like I said, it really just comes full circle because
That's Kenny Payne, not Kristaps.
Kenny Payne, yeah. It took me a second to figure that out also.
You know, a year ago at the start of the season, like, you know, it was tough. And now, you know, you bring in it. A lot of things, you know, in the league are about situation. They're about opportunity and all that type of stuff. And all this stuff really kind of, for me, came together as far as coaching, opportunity, the team and what everybody else is doing, how we believe in each other, how Tibbs has everybody buying in. So, it's great, man.
All right, that was the full clip.
Yeah, that was the clip. What do you got to say for that, Jay? What's your comments?
I mean, it seems like they're invested in it. It's a little weird that they're invested in Randall and doing what they can for him, yet they still drafted
Toppin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part's a little weird, but it is cool how they really it does. It's the Toppin thing's the only thing that doesn't make any sense, because otherwise he asked for a coach that pushes him. They got Tibbs. It seems like they really kind of fully invested in. Yeah, it seems like they fully invested in him and helped turn him around. But they drafted maybe it was and we're also gonna give you Toppin just to give you some competition.
So Tibbs doesn't play you 48 minutes; he only plays you 40.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There was an article on realgm.com. I just commented. I said to you off the air, but the article basically, just the beginning of the article says, the title of the article it's called "It's Always Better to Try." And it says the Knicks are exploring the outer limits of what a not great team can do when they play really hard every night.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't every team play? People always say Tibbs, he pushes his guys, he plays every night like it's a playoff game. Why doesn't everyone else do this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hate when a team loses and they're like, we just didn't try hard enough, and it's like, but why would you ever not try hard enough? Maybe some players don't have that personality. I don't know. For me, I'm competitive when I'm playing, even pick up basketball. Well, I mean, that's all I play, because obviously I don't play anything. But
you don't play for the.
But I try. I could be down 20 points. I'm still trying my hardest. I don't understand the mentality of just doing what Kevin Love did the other day, where he was just batted the ball to the other team.
Yeah, that was he just was walking on the court like he didn't even give a crap. The thing is, people will knock Tibbs. I don't want you to play your guys 48 minutes every night, but they knock him because it's well, of course he wins more games. He seems to be really trying every night. Treats every game like it's important. Yeah, that's what I want my coach to do. I want my coach, unless we're in pure tank mode, I want my coach to push the team so they get as much out of the team, make everyone better in the roster. And hey, come playoff time, I bet the teams that do better are the teams that are taking this crap seriously.
Yeah, I mean, every year the deep playoff teams are the teams that have good chemistry and weren't dogging it half the time.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the whole last year the Clippers. Everyone's Clippers have so much talent, and they're oh well, they lost because they really didn't have chemistry. They didn't really play hard. It was a weird. It kind of matters. The stuff you do in the regular season matters.
There's going to be a 30 for 30 on that Clippers team, because that was one of the most stacked teams I've ever seen that did almost nothing.
Yeah, they really weren't that good. I mean, it's kind of the very similar team this year, so maybe they'll make a run this year in the playoffs. But
I feel like they're worse, though.
It's just the thing. Everyone's been talking about the Knicks need to build culture. I don't think I really quite understood that till we got Tibbs, and I'm yeah, everyone's buying in. This is the culture. I think anyone that comes to Knicks going forward will be I need to play really hard on defense. I need to really play team ball, because that's what this team does.
Yeah, so it's a team that is very similar to last year, who stunk, but now they have a good culture and everyone's bought in, everyone's trying, and fourth place right now. I mean, it's pretty insane. I moved last week, so we didn't get to record. I wanted to record so bad during that 9-game winning streak. It was just, when was
Jay was I need the winning streak to end so we could record.
When was the last time they won 9 in a row? 10?
The last time we did it was the 12-13 season, the year they won 54 games.
That's crazy.
They had that run at the end of the year with Amari. If you remember, the Knicks were awesome. Then Amari was no longer injured. He was healthy. So the Knicks played 500 basketball for 45 games, or 45 games. Then Amari got injured, and the team went on a run again after he was injured.
Such a great contract.
It was it was just a weird, they were Amari and Melo can totally play together, except when they play together, the team was actually worse.
Not just worse, pretty bad.
But they had that crazy run with Kenyon Martin at the end of the season, where he was like, you were like, is Kenyon Martin did he lose 10 years? Like, is he like suddenly in his 20s again? What the hell's going on here? But anyway, this team is. I have a question to you, Jay. Who would win in a 7-game series? This current Knicks team, or the Knicks team from December? And what would happen in that series? So I'm pretty much almost the exact same team, plus Derrick Rose minus Austin Rivers. This team versus that team. How close would the series be?
I thought you
how much is it? I was going to say the 2013. You know what? I don't want to make a comparison between 12 and 13. Like that's also a very good team. That team might win. I don't know, but like, how much better is this team?
I thought you just wanted me to say Randall's better than Melo for the 8th straight episode.
No. I actually was about to ask that. I was like, no, that's not where I want to go. This team versus the team from December, the start of the season.
Yeah, definitely this team.
But like, I mean, like, what would the series be? Is it a 4-3 win?
4-2 or 4-1.
Yeah, I think it's 4-1 or maybe even a sweep. I think this team has gotten so much better than it did earlier in the season.
Yeah. They the beginning of the season, you're like, maybe they'll win, maybe they won't, but they're playing close. They're playing good. Now it's kind of like maybe they could beat Phoenix, one of the best teams in the league. Like maybe they could win 10 in a row.
They were up most of the game against Phoenix. Like they lost at the end, but like that was a crazy game.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix is no joke, and they were right there.
So Phoenix also basically went from a team that wasn't that good. They started getting better, and they got Chris Paul. Do you regret the Knicks not getting Chris Paul?
I kind of do, yeah. I thought, like, Chris Paul, to me, is kind of like what I thought LeBron was going to be. Like, the wheels are going to fall off at some point, and the guy's at 35, and it just never did. And he's vaulted Phoenix to the top of the league. And if the Knicks had him instead of Elfrid Payton. Well, it would also be instead of Derrick Rose, but still, like,
you're right. You would probably be instead of Derrick Rose. First of all, Chris Paul looked freaking awesome against the Knicks the other night. Yeah. I mean, and I don't think it had anything to do with the Knicks being. It's not like the Knicks were doing a bad job playing defense. That shot he hit near the game, that dagger of like that 3, was ridiculous. He was just. The only reason the Suns beat the Knicks were because Paul was hitting ridiculous daggers against them. Yeah.
I mean,
they also just shot out. They played amazing down the stretch. The Suns have one of the best records in the NBA, and the Knicks were like, the Knicks played really well against them, which was pretty impressive.
The Knicks are not scared of anybody right now.
No, like I used to look at the schedule and go, oh, look, the Knicks have a couple games coming up against real NBA teams, so I guess they're gonna lose all those games. And now I'm like, oh, the Knicks can play close with all these teams. Charlotte's not going to beat them. Come on, like the Mavericks. Come on, we can play the Mavericks. We can play the Pelicans. Yeah. The Bulls did like early in the year they split the seat. They won one. They lost one of the Bulls. And you're like, the Bulls are pretty even. I was watching last night. I was like, when are the Knicks going to put the Bulls away? The Knicks are just clearly a better team than the Bulls. Yeah. By the way, how do you think the Bulls feel about mortgaging their future, the trade for Vucevic to not make the playoffs?
I wouldn't say mortgaging their future. Like, is Wendell Carter really going to be anything?
I meant the 2 first-round picks.
Okay. Maybe you could argue that, yeah.
Lot of picks to give away for, not Carter. That was a lot of picks to give away for a guy that's not moving the needle.
He's really good, though. I mean, you haven't really seen him and Levine play together too much.
They play together a little bit. Why are they not better? Like, he's really good. Why is the team so bad still?
I think they need a Chris Paul, too.
Yeah. Does everyone get a Chris Paul? You get a Chris Paul? You get a Chris Paul?
I mean, really, their point guard is their weakest position now.
The Knicks are looking like, it's also, you look at the roster, you're like, how do we improve this? And, like, there are a lot of guys now, and like, it used to be like, how do we improve this? Well, just get 15 new guys and we'll be good. Now there are a lot of guys in this team I want back next year and back for a while.
Yeah. I mean, probably the top like 8 almost.
Yeah, like most of the starting, basically the current rotation minus Elfrid Payton, I'd like to see back next year.
Yeah.
I mean, like there are guys in this team like Reggie Bullock is a guy I was out on earlier in the year, and I didn't understand. I even like made the point I think on an earlier episode of the show that like everyone's giving Elfrid Payton all this crap. What about Reggie Bullock? What does Reggie Bullock do? He does nothing. Now I'm convinced that I want this team on the team for the next few years at least.
Yeah, and they're all fairly young. They're all under 30, other than Rose and Taj. I mean,
I think Bullock might be 27 or 28.
Yeah, I mean,
and Bullock, he looks like now he's the 3-and-T guy. His defense is great. He's shooting a lot more threes. Like he's shooting around 40% in a year. He's exactly what you might want from a guy like Reggie Bullock.
yeah, they can keep this going.
I love how you're keeping the energy down. You're like, I don't want to wake my girlfriend, don't want to wake my neighbors. I'm just gonna keep talking as if it's the 2018-19 season. I'm gonna just talking to mellow. You're talking like you're mellow, Jay.
I'll get the proper as loud as I can talk without waking her up. I'll find that happy medium at some point. Just
find the happy medium, Jay. Find the happy medium.
The TV says Jay in a Knicks shirt and not drinking heavily on camera. Is this the new Knicks or alternate Marvel universe?
So I wanted to play a game with you, Jay.
Okay.
It's called strip poker. It's just for our people watching.
There are some Twitch rules.
Oh, by the way, so I just wanted to point out that because watching the Suns game, when you watch certain teams play, you notice they have players the Knicks should have drafted. How good is Mikal Bridges?
I haven't really seen much of him. I mean, looking at the box score, he looks good.
But you saw him in the Suns game.
No, I was moving.
Oh, you didn't see the Suns game?
No.
Oh, okay. Bridges looks goddamn awesome.
I had to do like a lot of box score stalking.
Okay, whatever. Bridges looks goddamn awesome. I was watching him in the Suns game being like, holy crap, this is the guy who the Knicks were like, he's got a low ceiling. Yeah, we don't need to draft him. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, holy shit. Like he was also killing the Knicks the other night. When the Knicks drafted Knox, there were probably, I think, 3 other logical picks they could have taken. Actually, 4 other logical picks. The guys they could have taken were Mikal Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
They could have taken the other Bridges, Miles Bridges. They could have taken Michael Porter. They could have taken Shea Gilgeous, Shea Gilgeous Alexander. What's the last name?
You were downright mad about Porter. You were very angry about Porter.
I was very angry. But you know what? The thing is, of the 5 guys they could have selected, 4 of them are really good. The Knicks drafted the one guy who may not have an NBA career.
Yes, that is true.
How, like you watch the Miles Bridges for the Hornets looks pretty darn good. He's super athletic. I would have been happy with him. If they drafted Porter, I would have been delighted. If they drafted SGA, I would have been like through the roof. He would have been the answer. If they drafted Mikal Bridges, which everyone said would be the safe pick, the guy looks goddamn awesome. The Knicks could not have whiffed more on that pick. At least like the Ntilikina pick, you can say like, well, Dennis Smith Jr. is not very good. Malik Monk's not that good. They didn't do they got Ntilikina, but all the alternatives weren't that great anyway. And they weren't going to draft Donovan Mitchell. No one was talking about the Knicks taking Donovan Mitchell. So it wasn't the worst thing. This pick is horrendous. And whatever you want to say with the Obi Toppin pick, maybe they should have taken Halliburton. This is so much worse because everyone around him, everyone else they should have taken is so good, and Knox is so bad.
Yeah.
That is the one pick of the one miss that's anyway, I got a game for you guys. Okay, so the game is I'm going to name something that happened. I'm going to go a bunch of like the Chris Paul. What I would have said to you, how would you have felt if the Knicks had gotten Chris Paul? And so I'm going to give you 1 to 10. 10 being it really was what it would have been a disaster, or 1, it didn't matter or was actually a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 to 10.
So wait,
First-
10 is a good thing, 1 is a bad thing?
No, 10 is a disaster.
10 is a disaster. Okay.
So 1 is actually it's supposed to be if it didn't matter versus being a disaster. 1 would be letting Landry Fields go. Didn't matter. 10 would be trading a first round pick to get Barnes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that seemed to matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple a couple of ones that are before. Well, the first one I'm going to start with, just want to gauge how you react, is trading the house for Melo. What would you give that from 1 to 10?
I would give that 8.5.
Okay, so you think trading all their assets to get Melo was close to an epic disaster.
Yeah.
Okay. Letting Jeremy Lin go.
4.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, they won 54 games year after.
He didn't do much after he left, but it was kind of like a bad PR move.
Okay. And by the way, everything's with complete hindsight. So this is not like how you felt at the time. This is looking back on it.
Well, at the time, I felt the Melo thing was a 10. So
I don't think you were that upset at the time.
I was pretty upset, yeah.
Okay. The KP trade.
KP trade. It's so tough because he had to go, but I don't like the haul they got for him. So,
but it cleared cap space to get Julius Randle.
It did.
And we have these two draft picks coming up.
I'm gonna say a 4 because I still think they could have got more.
Okay. I mean, obviously Dennis Smith wasn't very good. I would go with that. Almost to a 1 because by trading KP, they avoided the disaster of signing KP.
Yeah.
I mean, does Dallas want to get out of that contract?
Yeah, no, I'm just going by the fact that it was reported that a bunch of teams said they were interested and didn't even get a meeting. So like, I'm going on the fact that they probably could have got a better package, not the fact that they wouldn't have traded him, because it would be a 1 if you're comparing it to just not trading him and signing him to a max. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like, okay. The next one. So I'm going to start with this. Now going into this summer. What if the Knicks had hired Kenny Atkinson instead of Tibbs? That was a rumor.
Mm-hmm. Probably a 7 or an 8, right?
Yeah, that would have been a pretty big. I mean, like, what if they hired, instead of Kenny Atkinson, they just hired another first-time coach?
10. Yeah, 10.
That would have been to set the franchise back another bunch of years, right? I mean, you could have got lucky, but who knows?
The team probably would have been just like they were last year, 13th place and 27th draft pick or something.
Right. If you want to compare it to COVID, which I know no one does, if you taking another coach is basically like being like, we're India now, where they are. That's probably offensive. Whereas getting Tibbs, we're kind of like midway, like through the vaccine. Everyone can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are going to get better. Is that the comparison I should be making, Jay?
Let's move on to the next.
Is that a horrible comparison?
Kind of, yeah.
That was pretty horrible.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay. I don't mean to offend anyone. But yeah, trading for Westbrook.
Trading for Westbrook. Was there a rumor on who they would have traded?
So who was actually traded for Westbrook? Well, it was
John Wall.
John Wall. Yeah. So that was a huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
So could have been Julius Randle. They to get him. They probably would have included you. Let's just say they did not include Julius Randle in the trade. Let's say they matched the money and traded 1 first-round pick and a Dallas pick.
And they did not trade Randle?
Yeah, let's hold off on Randle being traded. Let's just say they made it, because I don't know. Actually, I think it'd be tough to make this work without trading Randle. Well, let's just say in the world of hypotheticals, Randall remains a Knick, but Westbrook is traded for. In the trade, they include Knox and Ntilikina, which probably don't matter. They include one of the Dallas picks. Let's say they include both Dallas picks. That's it. They keep their first round picks. They include both Dallas picks. How do you think the team would be, and what would your reaction be now?
2.
Oh, so you actually like getting Westbrook?
Westbrook over Peyton? Yeah, I like that.
Oh, so even with his contract?
Yeah, I mean they have so much cap space right now anyway, and there's no good free agents this season. So yeah.
Oh, so I thought you would have said I thought you would have still said that you would not have won Westbrook on this team.
No, he's playing well, and
yeah, is it weird? Apparently, like Washington, the situation was turning out to be a disaster, and now suddenly everything's awesome in Washington.
Yeah,
they're the second hottest team in the NBA.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's be pretty much a good thing. Yeah.
Who would you rather have, Westbrook or Derrick Rose?
Westbrook.
Keeping in mind the contracts.
Oh.
I mean, the Knicks, like, let's just say the Knicks go to re-sign Derrick Rose, but you probably don't have to pay him $30 million to get him again.
No, you don't. On the other hand, do you trust Derrick Rose to stay healthy?
You trust Westbrook to stay healthy?
A little more than Rose.
I don't know. He was injured this season.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm even debating this. Like 2 years ago, I've been like, what do you want, crack?
Yeah, no, it's weird because coming into this, in the offseason, we were so out on getting Chris Paul, getting Westbrook. We were like, this makes no sense. The team is young. Getting a guy who's in his 30s with a bloated contract.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I can't see Rose doing much after this season, so I don't know.
I'd bring back. Would you not bring back Rose?
If it's going to be a small contract, yeah.
I would pay him 10 to 15 million.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No, I mean, he's one of the better players in the team currently. He's our best point guard if you don't count IQ as a point guard, which is, I mean, IQ's not quite a point guard. Like, wouldn't you like that your next year's point guards to be Derrick Rose and someone else?
Yeah, but 10, 15 million now, that's too much.
At least 10. I don't think you're going to get him under 10.
I do.
No. He's been pretty good. His time with the Knicks has been pretty solid.
Nick is asking, what do you think about Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, he's supposed to be. I mean, he's obviously very good. They were saying during the Dallas game that Dallas is likely to do everything they can to retain him. I think he's a restricted free agent also.
Yeah, Nomad's saying Chris Paul has a player option next season.
Is there? People were saying like, well, the Knicks will go after Chris Paul if he opts out. Is there any chance he's going to opt out? He's getting $40 million a year, and the Suns are awesome.
Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get, like, just because of his age, he's not going to get like a 4-year deal from anyone.
Yeah. Mr. C says, should Knicks fans lay off Peyton a bit, given he shares the same agent as Randall?
I think maybe Knicks fans should lay off Peyton just because it's bizarre. The Knicks have, like, in the 9-game winning streak, after every game, you go on Twitter, and there's someone being like, Elfrid Payton is the worst person ever. Oh, my God, Elfrid Payton. I cannot. He's so. Do you see that Elfrid Payton almost lost the game that we won tonight?
I mean, conversely, I feel like if Frank was having the games that Elfrid was, people would be losing their mind saying how great he is.
I think that might be true also. Elfrid Payton is not that good, but in a dose of 15 to 20 minutes a night, he's fine. And that's kind of what he's been playing lately.
Yeah.
Like, every once in a while, he does some good stuff at the rim, and, like, he's not terrible. He's just not that good either.
Yeah.
You know that, so what was the Knicks record? What do you think the Knicks record before the Rose trade was? Or how many games under, over? Where were they, I guess?
Before the Rose trade, 2 under?
3 under. They were 11-14 before the Rose trade.
Mm-hmm.
What about since they got Rose? I'll just tell you.
Okay.
They are 24-14. Seems like Rose has made the team. And also, he missed a bunch of games because of COVID. Do you know their record when Rose plays? 19-8.
That's a good record.
Seems like he makes I mean, the Knicks are overall just playing better, and it also is kind of boosted by the fact that they're on this big winning streak. But I'm going to say Rose is a strong positive on this team that you have to have back.
Yeah. I mean,
But you're one just a league minimum, and you're like, Rose, take league minimum or get the hell out of here.
not league minimum, but I think 15 is a little outrageous.
What about, they have a bunch of guys, and the weird thing is that, like, they have all these guys on the cheap, and now they have to spend a little more money to keep. Like, their coming cap space is going to go away because I kind of want to keep Burks, Bullock, and Rose.
Yeah, and all their salaries are probably going to at least double.
I would say of those three guys, I assume you want to bring them back also, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What order of importance? Put them in order of importance.
Let's see. With Burks is like the main bench scorer.
But they've been winning without him.
Bullock spreads the floor. He's a 3 and
Plays
D guy.
great defense. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rose is. If you don't have Rose, then you have Peyton playing a lot more minutes. It's tough. I guess probably Rose, Bullock, Burks.
Yeah. I'd say Burks is of the three. None of them are easy to replace, but you might be able to replace them the easiest.
Yeah, just because Burks is mainly just points, and there's a lot of guys who can put up points.
I mean, if you get lucky in the draft and draft another guy who can shoot, that would make a big difference also.
Yeah.
Of like taking away what Burks help get, like, you have 2 first-round picks. If one of those two guys, if not both of them, are contributors that can really help. I think a point guard you need to bring in another point guard anyway, but having a guy like Rose makes a huge difference.
Yeah, agreed.
I also would have to add in, you need to bring back having a Rose and a Taj, 2 guys that are 100% bought in, vets that are bought into Tibbs' system, makes a big difference also.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to my list. I said trading for Chris Paul, right? Signing Gordon Hayward. It was, I think it would have been like 4 years, 120.
He's been very good this season.
Yeah.
And healthy.
The Knicks screw up. I mean, you don't have to go 1 to 10 or whatever. 1 being like it would have been a good thing, 10 being would have been a disaster.
I'm going to say a 3 just based on potential disaster. It would have been a 1 based on this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost looked like if you add Gordon Hayward to this team would be a lot better. I mean, a lot of our takes in the offseason were based on the fact we thought it'd be a bad team, and now everything has been reversed.
Yeah.
Okay. Trading a lot of fans wanted to trade Julius Randle this offseason. We weren't like calling for it, but we weren't so against it. What would have been 1 to 10 trading Julius Randle?
11.5.
Yes. It also kind of shows how little Knicks Twitter and all of us know. Like, we always kill, like, the Knicks are like, how does Tibbs not see that Peyton's really bad? Well, weren't you just also, like, a month ago talking about how the Knicks needed to trade Julius Randle? So maybe you should shut the hell up. Okay, I'll shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Trading up to draft Toppin. If you recall, the Knicks were trying to trade from 8 to 5 to draft Toppin.
And if they did that, they probably would have traded the Quickly pick. So,
Well, let's just say they kept the Quickly pick. Let's say they traded up. It was like they traded what? Maybe it was the one of the Dallas picks.
a 10.
For how good. By the way, Toppin, if you've noticed, I know you missed a game or two for stuff moving, but I feel like Toppin now does one good thing a night.
Yeah, but that's trading up for that would be really bad.
Oh, horrendous. I'm just saying, like, are you starting to feel a little better? I mean, like, I still think if Toppin was your, like, If you switch, quickly was your top 10 pick and Toppin was your 23rd pick or 25th pick. Would you feel a little better?
A little bit. I mean, the fact that he does something each night now, I guess on my worried scale, I've gone from like a 9 to like a 7.5.
Yeah. I kind of like, I almost like, I enjoy a little bit of time he plays because now I'm like, instead of playing him for 4 minutes, like we play him for 6, I want to see what happens. Get him the ball. I'm like, get him the ball.
Yeah.
I've noticed he's still scared. Like if he's outside the 3-point line, if he's not shooting, he's passing. He's scared to take the ball and dribble it to the basket.
Yeah.
But when he gets the ball around the basket, he seems to do pretty good things. Unlike Knox.
Nomad saying, hear me out. What's your thoughts on signing Kyle Lowry? It is said he's seeking 2 years, $25 million. He can help develop our younger guards, and you're going to need a bigger contract for the trades at the deadline. A lot of teams are not going to have that type of money. Having cap space isn't worth it.
You know, Jay, Kyle Lowry's on my list of things I was going to get your reaction to.
Okay.
I totally think Kyle Lowry could make a lot of sense. What do you think, Jay? I feel like if you gave him I don't know what contract he said, like $20 million or
2 years, 25.
Okay,
12 and a half.
2 years, 25 each, right?
Is it 25 each?
It has to be 25 each. He's not going to take 20, 25.
I mean, I would do 2 years, 25, but 2 years, 50? No.
Well, like you just assume, like look at the free agency pool. Like we're not using the money is just there. It has to be used. So if you gave him $25 million this offseason, whatever, you're not giving it to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks have like $45 million in cap space.
Yeah, but the year after is where it gets. He's like borderline washed up.
I don't know. He's having a decent year for Toronto.
Do you want to pay
He's
25?
a very good. He is of the like. He's not quite Chris Paul, but maybe he makes the Knicks a lot better.
I don't want to pay $25 million for it. He's playing decent.
Jay, you realize that none of this is your money, right? I mean, sometimes I feel like you're like, well, God, I have to pay Chris Paul. How am I going to pay Chris? I've got a new apartment. I can't afford Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry. But like reasonably, wouldn't he make like? He's a very, very good veteran point guard. He's still like upper echelon even at this age.
Is he?
Well, here's just who would have a better season next year? Not who would have a better future, but who would have a better season? If you had to bet money, Kyle Lowry or Lonzo Ball? If you had to bet money on this, so you had like you got to bet your Bitcoin, Jay.
Ball.
Really? Because if I had to bet money, I would bet. I mean, long-term future, obviously, young Ball is younger and all that. But if I had to bet on one season, I'd bet on Lowry.
Okay. I mean, I just feel like their trajectories are going to flip-flop sometime next season.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, letting Damian Dotson go. When the Knicks let Damian Dotson go, there were a number of Knicks fans being like, why did they ever give Damian Dotson a chance? The Knicks screw up another good player.
Yeah. One.
Yeah, that didn't seem to matter. Cleveland didn't seem to like him either.
Yeah.
There was, I believe, one of us, not saying who, had maybe have reacted kind of poorly or lost their goddamn minds that the Knicks punted on the second round draft pick this season. What are you looking back on that? What do you think? 1 to 10.
A 1.
It didn't matter, Jay? It didn't matter?
I don't think it did.
Okay. What else we got here? Bringing back Elfrid Payton. A lot of Knicks fans said it was the end of the goddamn world because the Knicks brought back Elfrid Payton.
I mean, if you're saying they brought him back instead of somebody else, then probably like a 4 or 5.
Well, who else would have been? You remember it was like they didn't sign anyone. It was like, oh, you're still standing there. Okay, fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think there was anybody else that was realistically on the radar. So probably give it like a 2.
I'd give it a 1 in the sense of like, we're talking about the Knicks being in the playoffs. This late in the season, they have the 4 seed, and Elfrid Payton's on the team. Could have made that big of a deal.
True.
By the way, we have not talked about, the Knicks have a new point guard.
Oh, yeah?
Do you not know this?
No.
I'm not even being like, I'm not like joking at all. The Knicks really did sign a new point guard.
Okay.
Luca Vildoza. He played in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks have signed him. He's 25 years old, plays in the Euro League and he's from Argentina. And the Knicks have you heard about this or not?
I have not. Super excited, though.
The Knicks have used one of the empty. So the Knicks have done some interesting stuff recently. They gave 10-day contracts to Jared Harper, to Miles Turner, and one other player that were on their G League affiliate. And the reason they did that apparently was just to give them some extra money. It was to reward them for having a good season.
Okay. I mean, fine.
No, I mean that's like kind of like good organizational stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was a strong positive. And then they now have an empty roster spot, and they used to sign this guy Luca Vildoza, who apparently is pretty darn good. I mean, he's not like he's averaging playing for Bascona, his team, whatever. He's averaging 10.6 points a game, 3.5 assists in 24 minutes a game. He's supposed to be and supposedly, I think he's shooting on a decent volume of threes. He's shooting around 36%.
Okay. Yeah. Give it a try.
Yeah. What do you think about the Knicks like scouring the earth to look for look for talent?
Good. I'm glad they're actually doing something. I felt like when Phil was there, it was like, who was on the Lakers 10 years ago?
Yeah. I do really like the fact that the Knicks seem to like be going out of their way to find talented players. The Nets recently signed Mike James out of the Euro League, who's playing pretty decent for them. There were a couple other guys that other teams have signed. I like the fact that the Knicks were like, hey, we're not going to rest with the current roster. Let's see if we can improve it by like looking overseas.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the Knicks did sign Kyle Lowry for $25 million a year for 2 years, 1 to 10, how big of a disaster would it be?
2.
Okay. What if the Knicks signed Lonzo Ball for 4 years, $80 million?
That one's hard because I have no idea what he's gonna look like.
You don't know the future already, Jay? That's weird.
I know.
He didn't look. I know he's had a pretty good statistical season as of late. He did not look all that great against the Knicks the one game we saw him play. He wasn't healthy for the other game. I didn't get the sense from watching him and again, it was one game he missed some shots, but I was like, is this really the difference maker that we want to pay a ton of money for?
I'm gonna say 4.
I don't know if I love getting Lonzo Ball anymore. And I'm basing it on too small of a sample size. But here's another one for you. What if the Knicks this offseason signed DeMar DeRozan? 2 years, $40 million.
I don't think that's what they need, though.
Why?
I mean, a guy who can put up points but has no outside shot.
No outside shot, but he is an excellent. He's a great scorer. He's great from mid range. He actually has been passing the ball a lot more this season. You know, how many assists do you think he's averaging this year?
4.5.
7.
It's a lot.
That's pretty darn good. He's averaging 20 points a game. I know he's 31, but wouldn't that? I mean, now the Knicks are they have a bunch of good young players. They have a bunch. They're trying to take this to the next level. Wouldn't getting a guy who can score like him help take him to the next level?
I still don't think it's what they need, though.
What do they need, Jay?
They need
Dr. J, tell me what they need.
They need a point guard.
Yeah. Where are you getting one, Jay? I offered you Kyle Lowry. You said no.
I said yes.
Lonzo Ball, you're like, I don't know the future. I can't take him.
I don't know. Go back in time and do what you should have done and got Halliburton.
Halliburton actually has been kind of mediocre lately, by the way.
Mediocre.
I haven't been watching it, but I've noticed in the box score. I don't watch a lot of stuff.
Hey, you're a Kings GM. You get a call from the Knicks and you say, I'll trade you Toppin for Halliburton, how quickly do you hang up?
I guess in other years I would have just said there's no way a Knicks GM has the Kings or other GM's phone numbers at all. But so their situation, yeah, they got, they're not going to give up on De'Aaron Fox either. They're just going to play them together and make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, if Halliburton plays better, they might have Buddy Hield might be available.
Maybe. You want Buddy Hield? Jacks up a lot of shots. Do you want to overpay for Buddy Hield's 3-point shooting when there are other guys that shoot threes also and make them?
I'm not as high on Hield this year as I have been in the past.
I mean, Sacramento's not that high on him also.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sacramento's pretty mediocre. You know what's been crazy is that the Knicks are one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
They are taking they have in the last I think in the month of April, they're shooting about 5 more threes a game than they shot previously. They're making them at a high clip. There's a bunch of Knicks that are shooting at a high level. RJ Barrett on almost 5 threes a game is shooting almost 50%.
Wow.
They were saying actually, if you eliminate basically the month of December, RJ Barrett is among the league leaders in 3-point shooting. And I know
crazy.
also, oh yeah, these guys are really good at shooting threes if you eliminate the shots they've missed. But I mean, he had a very poor start for 5 games and has been goddamn awesome in 3. And not that he's going to be we're not talking about Steph Curry anytime soon. He's become he's been a really good shooter from 3. Randall's been good. Burks, IQ. Everyone besides Alfred Payton seems to be able to shoot the 3 on that team.
Yeah, yeah.
Even things got so crazy that Nerlens Noel shot a 3 last night. Didn't go in, but
DB Classic was saying that the thing that worries him with trades is that cohesion is high in terms of playing for each other. Is it worth discussing pure talent versus complementing team dynamic? Which is a good point. I mean,
I think it's a really good point.
They have
what do you think?
Good chemistry right now, and maybe you get a guy who technically has better skill, but doesn't fit in with the guys as well, and you could ruin the whole chemistry of the team with that.
That's why I kind of want to bring it back. Everyone besides Alfred, I kind of want to bring, not Knox but the solid, the 8-man rotation we have. I'd like to bring everyone back besides Alfred.
Yeah.
And if you you take that rotation, add a guy like Kyle Lowry or DeRozan who are going to play really hard. Maybe it takes maybe a Kyle Lowry does what Chris Paul is doing for Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, give you a couple more.
Zapatego said it seems like we couldn't handle another bad season. We were literally on the verge of just packing it in.
Jay's like, okay, Mark, they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to quit the show. Jay, they have no chance of making the playoffs. I mean, they're a god-awful team. They don't make the playoffs. God has to will them into the goddamn playoffs or else the show's done. And the show's going to keep going. Okay, a couple more. Dennis Schroeder. What do you think? The Knicks signed Dennis Schroeder to 3 years, $60 million this offseason.
6.5.
Yeah, I think that's playing closer to a disaster. I don't like that move at all.
It's too much. I wouldn't mind him for a lot less, but that's too much.
Max or very close to max contract for John Collins. Collins is extremely skilled. He, when removed from Trae Young, may have the ability to be an all-star.
I'm going to say 7.
You think it'd be that big of a disaster?
Yeah, because where's he going to get minutes over Mitch, Randall, Noel?
You put him in the 3.
Put him at the 3? I don't know if he could play the 3.
Well, he's not going to play the 4.
If you put him at the 3, you're taking minutes away from Barrett.
Barrett played the 2.
If you do that,
I don't know. He's a guy that can score 20-plus game points. He's an elite scorer, or has the ability to be an elite scorer.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's no fit for him. He's going to want to play 35 minutes a game, and I just feel like
right. But is he? Difficult. If you're adding an all-star, you would not find 30 minutes for an all-star.
Is he an all-star though?
But he's not yet, but he could be. Of guys, if you talk about who next year will be a first-time all-star, he'd be among. If you're going to make bets on guys, among guys I might bet on.
Yeah, it's too. I feel like it's too risky.
Who, if you're going to say who's going to be a first-time All-Star next season, who's the better chance? Collins or Barrett? Maybe Barrett to step up also. There aren't that many guys I'd be like, this guy has a good chance of being a first-time All-Star next season. I think Collins is the first. You could see him, especially if he gets away from Trae Young and Trae Young's like hogging the ball. You could see him really taking it like another step up.
Yeah. Let's do some emails.
Yeah. Oh, my last one for you.
Okay.
James Dolan never sells the team. 1 to 10.
James Dolan never sells the team.
Never sells until he dies at the ripe old age of 147.
2 or 3.
I mean, the Knicks are pretty good right now. Does it matter that James Dolan owns the team?
I'm just
It might
picturing
not.
an alternate universe where he sells and we get a tightwad owner who doesn't want to pay a lot.
Good point.
All
Maybe
right.
the Wilpons, the Mets old owners, buy the Knicks. Okay,
Email.
let's go to Facebook questions.
You want to do Facebook first? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you go to email. Go to email. I'm pulling up the Facebook questions anyway.
Email nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is the email. Phil writes, we read the New York Post?
Is that Phil Jackson?
No. Have we read the New York Post article from 413 entitled Lonzo Ball May Miss a Big Chance at Knicks Showcase? If you haven't read it, drop some breadcrumbs. So apparently Ball and Randall are homies, like tear it up and say words about each other type of homies. Love it. The Pelicans won't re-sign him at the price he can get. And don't we have the space to make a competitive offer? So the Knicks should go get Ball 2 times the assist as quickly, or Peyton plus 3 more points a game. Plus he's playing ball with his BFF. That's loyalty, chemistry, trust, communications, all great things on the court beyond their individual talent. Then add more talent with 3 firsts this year, sounding like a strong team next year. Future's becoming more clear. What do you all make of the chances for this path in our lives?
So I don't know if New Orleans is going to match a big offer for him, because I feel like the team isn't that great with him. They may feel like we can spend the money elsewhere. I mean, they should be a better team. And right now they're also playing Point Zion, so they may not think Lonzo Ball is part of their future. So I think you can get him to make a big offer.
Yeah,
Should they?
If he's got chemistry with Randall, that might be a good thing. Like I
So he's
said, I thought 20 was too much, but if you can get him for 15, yeah, do it.
The only thing is, I mean, like, again, well, I don't watch him that often. Is he a game changer?
Right now he's not, but he might be.
Right now he's shooting 8 threes a game. I'm making 38% of his shots, which is great. He gets, I don't like, it's weird. I just find it weird how bad that team has been. And I wonder why the team can't be better with Lonzo. Like, it almost worries me. You're like, there's so much talent in that team. It's a bad team. Why are they bad? Like, obviously Zion's very good. Like, why can't a point guard figure out how to like build a career off just passing the ball to Zion?
Yeah. Right. Hey guys, do you remember picking Kevin Knox over Michael Porter Jr. and Frank over Mitchell? Thank you for pouring salt in our old wounds.
Well, I don't think I picked Knox over him, but I was complaining. But yeah, I think we both agreed that Ntilikina was the guy to get, right?
I think he just meant the Knicks, not us.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan writes, "Hey guys."
So are you all like the Knicks? The Knicks, it would cost, you have to overpay because he's a restricted free agent. Would you pay 4 years, $80 million for Lonzo?
I might, just because I'm so desperate for a point guard.
Or would it be better off just taking 2 years of Kyle Lowry?
I feel like we should have got Kyle Lowry like 8 years ago.
That might be right. Maybe that draft pick we would have traded for him would have worked out. Would have been a better deal.
Yeah.
Was it the 2016 pick they wanted?
I think, yeah.
Was it the Frank pick?
It might be.
You're telling me Frank for Kyle Lowry. I'll do Frank for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. Jonathan writes, "Hey guys, we all hate Peyton, but I like Rose and IQ off the bench. That way we have an advantage over the other team. So that's why I don't hate Peyton in the starting lineup." Thoughts?
I kind of agree with that. I feel like you're like Alfred sucks, but like maybe having some of your better point guards in the bench might be a better off. First of all, Alfred's not even playing 40. It's not like he's playing 40 minutes a night anyway. But I do think maybe putting him with a better group, the first unit might be overall beneficial to the overall team play.
Let's see. Jorge writes, saw people arguing D Rose is more likely to go to the Hall of Fame than CP3. Thoughts? Also, D Rose is probably going to be the only MVP not to go to the Hall of Fame.
Well, CP3 is going to the Hall of Fame. I don't know how he could not.
Yeah.
Is there anyone arguing that CP3 is not going to the Hall of Fame?
Some people apparently are saying D Rose is more likely, which I think is insane.
But do you think D Rose? I think D Rose actually might have an outside shot at the Hall of Fame.
He has an outside shot, but I think Chris Paul's a lock.
Oh yeah, obviously Chris Paul is an all-time great. He's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame, no question. I'm just saying, do you think Derrick Rose has no chance of getting to from 1 to 10? What would you give his chances? From 10 being he's a lock to 1 being he has no chance.
4.
Yeah. I feel like if he can do what he's doing now for a bunch more seasons, it might help his case overall.
Yeah.
If he ends his career well as a solid bench player for the next few years.
Yeah.
Because being a top player in the league for at least a few years and an MVP is a lot.
Yeah.
To look over.
And Stan is asking if we do regular shows anymore. I moved, and so we had to skip a week and a half of shows. So
I think he's being the entire season the last couple of years.
Yeah, well,
we'll try to do more regular shows, especially if the Knicks going to be in the playoffs. I mean, not if they're going to be in the playoffs. We'll do more regular shows going forward.
Yeah. Okay. We're almost out of time. Do you have Facebook questions?
Yeah, a couple Facebook questions. We'll go through them pretty fast. Julian writes, boys, reflecting a few seconds, could we just remember where we were in terms of hope at the beginning of the season? Fair play, this team looks like something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still just shocked. It's amazing. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
There's no way anyone. Greg writes, Zion seems to like playing at MSG. If you were the GM, would you sign him to a max? And did you see how he was glowing during his interview when asked about playing at the Mecca?
I know. I'm just so worried about his injury history.
Well, first of all, he's not going to be a free agent for 2 more years, right?
Yeah. Actually,
and also, LeBron says he likes playing at MSG. Doesn't mean he's actually going to come here.
Everyone likes playing at MSG.
Yeah, it's a fun place to play. No one seems to want to sign here. Let's relax a little bit. And also, in 2 more years, if Zion stays healthy, I'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I could not imagine Zion's going to have a 15-year career. He just doesn't for his size. I just don't see it.
Yeah, same.
Oscar writes, after watching tonight's game with the Suns, what punishment would you inflict to whoever chose to draft Knox over Bridges? Bridges looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's beyond Chris Paul making a big difference in that team. I think the addition, Mikal Bridges taking the leap he's taken this year made a gigantic difference. Rob writes, with free agency being pretty weak this year, you try to run it back next year with basically the same group of guys or go for someone like Kyle Lowry or DeRozan. Greg writes, we kind of covered that. Greg writes, I heard rumors that you have Derrick Rose as your guest on this week's pod. Been a while since I heard him.
Ask next week. We're running really low on time.
Greg's Greg, we appreciate the love for Derrick Rose. We'll do it soon. And also, whose career would you rather have, Derrick Rose or Chris Paul?
Derrick Rose or who?
Chris Paul. Neither won a title. Only one of them has won an MVP award.
Chris Paul. A lot more playoffs, a lot less injuries.
Fair. Yeah, that's a fair point. By the way, speaking of things that are hard to believe, how good we are compared to how we now versus beginning of the season, how hard is it to believe how much we didn't like Derrick Rose when he was here last time and how happy we are with him now?
I know, it's crazy. It's like 2 different players.
Yeah, we were so upset when he was traded for, and now we're last time, not this time. And now we're oh, think Derrick Rose would be a really important guy to bring back next season.
Exactly.
Okay. What did you learn today, Jay?
Learned that the Knicks are making the playoffs. They have clinched the play-in game.
Jay, you know what you learned, Jay?
Hmm.
I got something else you learned. Don't move during a 9-game winning streak, Jay.
Oh my God, terrible. All right, so if you want to join the chat live, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon with a P, crumpled, and if you subscribe, if you follow, you get a notification every time we go live. And we also found out that if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription to give out every month. So you could hit that subscribe button. Easier to do on a desktop, and that helps out the show a lot. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Looks like we got a couple. Yeah. Okay.
Jay also promises to move again very soon, so the Knicks can start another 9-game winning streak.
Yes. So thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back next week.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. It's time to go. This is the end.